Oh boy. We're back for episode 4 of Cinematic Adventures, the sequel to the 2014 Godzilla movie, King of the Monsters!
Woo, and Big G is back and better than ever.
Yep, and it's funny. This is 5 years. 5 years ago was actually our very first vlog together, and it was
us geeking out over Edward Garth?
Gareth Edwards.
Gareth Edwards.
Gareth Edwards. His interpretation of Godzilla.
And we were nerding out so hard.
Yes, we were. And oh my God, I looked back a little bit on the video, and oh my God, it was something. Oh my God, I cringe at.
I cringed too.
I cringed too. Oh my God, amazing how much 5 years can do. I mean, got better lighting, got a better camera, better microphones, and I do kind of miss the hat though.
You missed the hat. Let's see, better experience.
A lot more experience.
Much more experience, and now coming off, we know what to do.
Yes.
We're not just winging it, though we kind of are, but
kind of. Yeah, we kind of are a little bit.
Kind of are, but we know what to do.
So it's really great to it's nice to be a Godzilla fan in this day and age.
Well, he's the bigger fan. I mean, look at this collection. This is all his collection.
No, that's actually half of it. Yeah, here's the other half.
God damn! I mean, you got more movies than Marvel here?
No, I think Toho has just more Godzilla movies than Marvel. I mean, seriously, you have monsters like not only like Godzilla, but you have ones like Mothra, Rodan, King Ghidorah, King Caesar, Anguirus.
Oh man,
Godzilla King of the Monsters is just an overall entertaining monster movie. It's pretty much the other half of what the Godzilla series are. Gareth Edwards did a fantastic job of
bringing him to the screen,
and that whole drama, the seriousness. Godzilla is supposed to be like this metaphor for a force of nature and the fear of nuclear weapons for the Japanese people, and we get that in the first one.
Yeah.
In the second one, he's a hero. He's the baddest monster that no one can beat. And you just get some cheesy, fun monster fights, and that's what this movie is.
Yeah, which is kind of weird because that's what me and you are here for. We're here for monster fights, like big action. and the critics are saying they want more development on the humans, which is the opposite of the first movie.
Yeah, I think the critics were saying of like how they wanted more of the monsters and less of the humans, but that's probably because the humans were boring, with the exception of Bryan Cranston.
Yeah.
Bryan Cranston was the only one who was very interesting, and they kill him off, but...
Like what, 1/4 of the way?
A third of the way.
1/3 of the way.
They kill him off in the first act.
And there's the opposite problem with this movie. I don't find anyone here that intriguing.
They're very two-dimensional. They're very two-dimensional.
Yeah.
This is the B-movie portion of Godzilla, which is what I'm sure a lot of Godzilla fans like. So pretty much all in all is that when it comes to an American Godzilla, I'm not expecting anything to be on par with the '54 classic. I'll leave that for Japan. I'm not looking for scientific accuracy. I'll leave that for Ian. But you show me a movie about giant monsters battling, and I'm a happy guy!
Oh man, like freaking, we're happy. Destructions, ooh, destruction.
But it's not just all mindless entertainment. There are, and when I say mindless entertainment, and when I say it's not just mindless entertainment, I don't mean that there's actually some kind of substance to it. No, I mean that this is pretty much just a high-budget fan film with Easter eggs galore.
Easter eggs galore. Hell, AVGN's friend even made the composition for this, right?
James Rolfe's friend Bear McCreary, who actually helped score his own movie, the Angry Video Game Nerd movie, did the score for this one. And so he brings in the Godzilla theme, Mothra's song, and even does a pretty good rendition of Blue Oyster Cult's song Godzilla.
You know,
I honestly kind of like it more than the Blue Oyster Cult version.
Oh yeah, and I have to say the music here is a lot more memorable for that very reason. I don't even remember the music from the first movie.
I just remember the opening credits, but it's not really something that you can whistle about. But then again, I guess that's the kind of trade-off is that even Bear McCreary's score is not all that memorable unless it's the Godzilla theme.
Yeah.
And there are some things that we can talk about, how there were some improvements from the 2014 movie.
Oh, there's tons to be had.
And maybe some things where they didn't quite improve on.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe then all talking about the Easter eggs, which I actually can't wait to talk about. I can't wait to actually tell you people over on the internet about some of the Easter eggs. And if any of you are Godzilla fans, thumbs up, comment your favorite part of the movie down below. So now let's get started. Let's talk.
All right. Now I'm gonna admit I'm not a big Godzilla fan. 2014 is my technically second Godzilla movie. We don't want to count 98. Yeah.
Well, what was your experience with what about any of the original Godzilla movies?
The first one I saw was the one you showed me with Mothra, where we just had so much fun.
Oh, that was your first?
That was my first technical Godzilla Japanese, I don't know what, Toho
movie. Yeah.
Toho movie. I don't know what period you call it.
90s. Well, your kaiju. It's kaiju. That was your first.
But you keep saying like said it like it's like there's three periods like
Heisei.
Heisei.
The Heisei, yes.
Yeah. So I don't know all these terminologies. I don't know any of the Easter eggs. I don't know nothing. All I know is I enjoy monsters. I enjoy fighting. I just enjoy buildings being destroyed. And the biggest improvement that we can go from there was tons of buildings to be destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
The West Coast got fucked hard. San Francisco is rubble.
Mm-hmm.
And now we can see the East Coast gets the same treatment.
Let's see. My very first experience with Godzilla, and I didn't even know it was Godzilla at the time, was when I was 3 years old, when I saw a preview for what I would later find out to be the son of Godzilla. And the reason why I was so interested in it, because it looked a lot like Power Rangers, because it used some of the same effects, some of the same kind of techniques and technology, that kind of thing. So, of course, I guess it was only a matter of time that I would be a Godzilla fan, but I didn't really get into the franchise. I knew it was a thing. I knew all about the bad. I knew about the lip dubbing, the non-syncing.
Actually,
I knew about that, but it wasn't until James Rolfe did his Monster Madness all about Godzilla that I found out all about the movies, and I gotta see this because Power Rangers would not be here technically without Godzilla.
Yeah. Actually, now that I think about it, technically I did see Godzilla before what you showed me. I don't even know which one it was. I remember my dad taking me to a barbershop and the guy had it on his TV. Apparently he liked Godzilla as he was cutting my hair.
Oh, good taste.
Good taste. But so what improvements did this movie have?
Well, I think that. Well, going off a little bit of what James Rolfe and his friends have said about were improvements is that they did focus a little bit more on the monsters. The human characters actually were, in the first movie, how Aaron Johnson, he was supposed to be all about how he can defuse bombs, but he doesn't really do that in the first movie.
He's kind of useless.
He's pretty much useless, that's kind of why everyone finds him boring. And
with the boring name to boot, Ford.
This is supposed to be modeled off of Spielberg's Jaws. But in this one, the human character studies predators, knows all about like how their patterns of movements and all that kinds of things, and he actually does it. He's actually useful.
He's an animal whisperer.
Yeah. and I think that kind of what leads to the funniest line in the movie from him, and that's when Rodan makes his appearance, and they notice that Ghidorah has changed course and says he's hearing that guy's call. That means he's either looking for food, a fight, or something more intimate.
PG-13. Gotta love it.
Uh-huh.
I mean, okay, the fights were definitely a lot better.
Oh yes.
To me, the biggest improvement was the fights. The fact, and you got to see the scale. Like you kind of saw the scale in the first one, especially when you saw what you thought was Godzilla, but it was just his tail under the bridge in the first movie. But then you look at here, you really get a sense of scale of the monsters. You got to see Ghidorah from a faraway shot on a volcano with the cross in the corner. I guess signature scene.
Okay, I guess that's another improvement, is that cinematography actually does feel very artistic.
Yes.
Now, no, not knocking against Gareth Edwards, his whole deal with the movie is that whenever the monsters were in, that you would have to have humans in there so to get a sense of scale, and we kind of do that. In this one, it kind of gets pushed to the extreme. We get wide shots with Godzilla and Ghidorah, and there's that little chopper, that little cargo plane right in the middle.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, you can see just how small these creatures are compared to the Titans.
Yes, and there's a lot of shots I love. What the weirdest thing is, there's critics that did pan that this is obviously this is a shared universe, and they're thinking it's going too fast. Apparently DC's wasn't fast enough.
I think it's going just right at just the right pace, because quite frank, this is pretty much a franchise that has been around since the 50s in Japan, so it does have a certain niche environment, which probably might also be the reason why it didn't do very well financially as the studio had hoped. But we're still getting Godzilla vs. King Kong.
Yes.
Later. But what other movies the only other movies that you could make about other monsters in Godzilla's circle would be Mothra and Rodan.
Yeah.
And Japan has already made those. I got them.
And it's kind of weird. What do you want? Origin stories? Like freaking Godzilla as a baby to a teen to an adulthood?
No, I don't think that's what they were doing. No, I don't think so. That's just...
It's kind of silly.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of... Some of the things that they say kind of don't make sense.
No, but this is pretty much the most logical progression. That anyone who's a Godzilla fan knows that it's about the monster battles to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And so now we bring in all the other monsters. It's not just Godzilla and some other creature that was made from their own creation, that kind of thing. No, we get King Ghidorah, we get Rodan, and we get Mothra. This was hinted at back in 2014, and oh my god.
Yeah, I remember seeing those Easter eggs in freaking that first movie, especially that little bug cage.
Yeah.
And speaking of Mothra,
she is
Beautiful.
beautiful and deadly.
Beautiful and deadly, and I love it when you hear the first beats of her theme song. That beat gave me chills, and you saw the wings expand through the waterfall, and oh my god, that was a spectacle to behold.
And I think kind of what I like is that every monster actually has their own color scheme, and in a way, it also shows allegiance. Like Godzilla is blue, and Mothra is kind of more like an aqua. It's definitely in the green colors.
It's green bluish.
It's green bluish. So, and she's given the moniker the Queen of the Monsters. I don't know if it's just in this movie or if it's in later movies. I'll have to check back with the original one. And then you have King Ghidorah, who is like all yellow, and Rodan, who is red. And his allegiance is he flip flops. He just
Okay, you're bigger, you're badder. I'm on your side, buddy.
He only backs who's ever the winner at the moment.
Yeah.
That's kind of this is kind of an Easter egg that I'll bring into later.
As much as I love these monster fights, though, it gets hindered by a few things.
I think one thing I didn't like was because we were sitting up close to the theater. It's a big screen, and for some reason, in order to make things a little bit more realistic, they got to use the guerrilla style filmmaking. So that means like handheld camera, so shakiness, and I think I'm getting at that age where it just really bothers my eyes. I started getting a little bit of a headache from actually trying to keep my eyes focused on who is running and who's fighting.
And like the fact that the volcano explodes, we see like a zoom, then we see freaking Rodan, and it zooms in again.
It zooms in once, then it zooms in again. Sorry, I got PTSD from Man of Steel. Because it's
please, internet, make this a thing. Stop the shaky cam. I want the shaky cam to stop.
Or at least tone it down a little bit.
I mean, does movies really need to depend on to give the realism of you are there?
This is about giant monsters. I already know none of this is real.
Exactly.
Alright, speaking of just that reminds me, that just kind of reminds me of something that I brought up, and that's just this one character, and that is Sam Coleman, played by the current Verizon guy. And his first introduction, you kind of see him like, oh, he's the nerdy white guy. He's nothing more than a comic relief. Next scene he's in, he gets a couple badass moments. It like switches.
You pick one or the other. You can't have your cake and eat it.
Here's the thing. That is more realistic. Is that usually in the same day, you could be walking like you had clown shoes on, like you trip over every little thing, and then like in that next hour,
something happens.
You drop something, and then you just pick it up with the grace of a ninja. That's real.
That is real.
But this is a Godzilla movie. This is all about giant monsters. And every other character is a two-dimensional character. Why is this guy the one who feels more realistic?
He's the most annoying one. I mean, nothing against him. I'm pretty sure he's great. But
he is great, but he's the odd duck. He's the oddest duck in a room that's filled with odd ducks.
I mean, okay, first off, the Alec Baldwin XB doesn't help everything.
Who's the Mark?
Yeah, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh my God.
How's your animal life?
So his whole thing is that apparently he like studies predators or animals and that kind of thing. The scene where Serizawa, his assistant, and Sam Coleman, I actually forget his assistant's name. That's sad.
That's really sad.
That's sad because
we'll just call her
Emmy. Call her Emmy.
Let's call her Emmy. Yes.
We're calling her. So Serizawa, Emmy, and Sam go to Mark's place, and they're whispering. That's supposed to be. That's dramatic.
Why are we whispering.
I like to whisper too. Really? and Mark, I know his, and I'm kind of faulting more with the director. Yeah, the direction on this, because apparently the direction was act like you have to take a shit real bad.
Wow.
I'm sorry. That was harsh, but that's kind of what it looks like. It looks like he's holding back a turd that he has to really get out, or it's a fart, a mega fart.
The whole entire movie acts like that. He's like this. He acts like this. His face doesn't change emotion. It's all kind of always like this.
And his whole backstory is that he is pretty much traumatized because he and his family lost his son during Godzilla's first appearance back in 2014.
You know, yeah, that is kind of sad.
It's very sad.
It is very sad. But he's not the only one.
He wasn't the only one. Lots of other people lost others. And apparently this is what kind of caused their family to drift apart. He's pretty much like traveling the world, recording sounds of wolves feasting on carcasses.
Which makes me question him as a parent, because why did he leave his daughter with her? With the mom?
I don't know, I guess maybe because she was supposed to be the more grounded one?
Was she? Because the way... If he was... Okay, look at it from an outside perspective. He just saw Godzilla just kill his son. Why leave her in the care... He knows she's with Monarch.
Uh-huh.
Why leave her in the care of a woman who's with Monarch studying giant monsters?
I don't know. But
it doesn't make sense as a dad.
I don't really know. And then, but it turns out then the mother aligns herself with an eco-terrorist played by Charles Dance. Remember from Alien 3?
Oh yeah, Ripley's love interest.
Mm-hmm. Or as I first saw him, the first vampire from Dracula Untold, but as everyone else remembers him, the bad guy from Last Action Hero.
And he's the most charming human in this movie.
Charles Dance and Ken Watanabe, who plays Serizawa, are the highlights of this movie.
Yes.
Probably because they're the only ones that have any kind of weight.
They have the weight, and whenever Charles Dance speak, I don't know what's his actual character name.
Jonah.
Whenever
Which is funny. He's supposed to.
Whenever Jonah speaks, you actually want to listen because it's pretty entertaining. What did Mummy tell you? That we were going to save the world with ponies?
I have seen the worst parts of Human, and let me be the first to tell you, it doesn't get better, it just gets worse.
That's entertaining.
Yes,
I have
it
to
is.
say.
But then it turns out that the mother was planning on releasing the Titans all over the world so that they can restore balance because humans bad. Oh, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately lets the genie out of the bottle in the form of King Ghidorah,
AKA, what was it? Zero?
Monster Zero.
Monster Zero.
That's another Easter egg.
Ah.
Okay. And honestly, when I first saw that, and she's giving her video conference about her plan is, I'm going like, no, okay, I cannot feel sorry for you. I don't care. You have pretty much done something that you cannot be redeemed for. And then she decides to sacrifice herself, and at first, I thought that was actually redeemable.
No.
Yeah, until you kind of think about it. She still aligned herself with an eco-terrorist, pretty much released an alpha titan that no one could beat, pretty much causing the deaths of thousands of people.
Like how many deaths of people is on her shoulders?
I don't know, but either way, dying from a heat blast of radiation, she got off light. If she had stayed alive, she probably would have been sent to Guantanamo at best.
Yeah. And she kind of annoys me. Like, nothing against her. Bless the actress. She tried her best, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But, there's only so much he can do given direction.
Or even writing, character writing as well.
Writing. And they need to make her more interesting. She wasn't really that intriguing.
No, she wasn't. And the sad part is that even they got Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things plays 11.
Yeah.
Kind of the same way they brought in Bryan Cranston. It was just hot off of the end of Breaking Bad. But the thing is that they gave Bryan Cranston a lot of motivation to work with. They kind of focused on him. With Millie Bobby Brown's character, her name's Madison, by the way.
Yeah.
There's not much. She takes a back seat.
She's more or less not even a focus of the movie. She's more or less in the background, kind of like observe. She's an observer. And the funny thing is that in the trailers they kind of do focus on her, making it look like she is going to be the focus. Yeah. This was all about a kid who's probably surviving the aftermath, which. That would have been interesting. I would have loved that. It's something that I don't even think even the people in Toho has done. I would love, when I saw the trailer, I was excited because I'm like, what did the kid do to survive the destruction? What did this kid see? You ever thought about seeing the perspective of a child? You imagine, adults are high up, most camera angles are high, but to see it from a kid, from going from low down. And seeing how the world is huge. You think it's looking at Titans, comparing them to humans, it's making us small. Imagine how a child feels in that. I know, and when you're a kid, everything just already feels bigger than it is. Yeah. I would have loved it if they focused on her. Focusing on her, doing what she needs to do to survive, and just happens to be watching monster fights. Without the intervention of the military. Maybe watch the military intervention without being directly involved. So that was the kind of thing that they dropped the ball on, is that they didn't focus on, is that the marketing kind of paid special attention to Millie Bobby Brown because, well, Stranger Things fame, but she wasn't really there for most of the part. The trailer lied to us. Well, that's what a trailer's supposed to do. It's supposed to sell you the movie, but you didn't need to sell us Godzilla with Millie Bobby Brown unless she's going to be a main part of the movie. Yeah. At least I can say the first trailer for 2014 was honest. That's another thing that kind of annoyed me because they keep talking about what Andrew would want, what Andrew thought about this. Well, Andrew. I know nothing about this. Oh, actually, no. Actually, we do know something about Andrew. Is that he's their son who got killed from Godzilla back in 2014. And that's it? Really? There's nothing. Oh, I'm pretty sure there's something else. No. Yeah. Say what he likes, what he did. Anything else? Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's the kind of thing, is that we don't know anything about Andrew except that he's dead. And, you can't sell me pity here. You can't move someone. Especially when you use the line that said, "Do you really think Andrew would have wanted this?" I don't know! I don't know! I don't know what kind of person he was, what kind of kid he was. What did he do? Did he write? Did he draw? Did he sing? Did he dance? We get an iPhone clip of how happy that they were. But again, that shows how they were in the past. That doesn't show us who Andrew is. Yeah. It's funny to see how this dad used to act with his kids. I'm laughing when he goes, "An intruder, get out!" Yeah, that was pretty charming. It's charming, but again, that doesn't give us any insight as to who Andrew is. Yeah. And, if they wanted to make this a plot point about Andrew, they need to at least give a person, something to show what he is, or what he was like, as we mentioned, and an anchor, so to speak. Mm-hmm. But without that, I don't care. Yeah. I kind of go get on with it.
the one thing that the people brought up at Cinemassacre brought up is the old white-haired guy, the one that always had the one-liners. You know, the one that went, "Oh my God, Zilla." You know that one. They kind of had a problem with him. I didn't so much. I mean, he kind of broke up all the seriousness, and true, some of them. Some of his one-liners might be inappropriate, but the only problem that I had was that some of his delivery was like, was that really the best take? Or like, don't sound so excited.
You know, my favorite one is like, what does that mean? It means it's gonna be a bad day to be a Red Sox fan. Okay.
So like, you're gonna have to be more specific than that.
Yes.
Pretty much. Why not just say, ever hear of Chernobyl?
I know.
The other thing that I did like is that I liked some of the sound. I liked some of the sounds. I especially liked when whenever Godzilla is either powering up his atomic breath or just before he releases like a.
You mean
like
a
yeah, that I
love that.
Yeah.
And you know,
and there's a lot of good sounds. I mean, Godzilla actually put in the original Toho roar at one point.
Oh yeah.
And
you know, okay. My favorite part is the creative ways that people die.
Really? Okay. Oh, jeez.
Like we have this poor assistant Emmy. Emmy gets eaten.
Emmy gets
eaten by King Ghidorah.
By King Ghidorah.
We got 3 mooks that get vaporized.
And one of them finally, you know, kind of has a little bit of self-awareness, going, "Aw, shit."
Yes. And then there's this guy who, like, I don't know what he was thinking. Maybe he was panicking. He's in a fire jet. He's like, "I gotta bail." He bails into the mouth of Rodan.
I haven't seen a death like that since Jurassic World.
I know, right? It kind of made me. Am I supposed to laugh? Because that's what it's doing.
I really don't know, but I think the one death that actually you don't laugh at, you actually cry for, and actually I've actually found myself going, no, is Serizawa who dies. You know, he has to go the way like his namesake. He sacrifices himself, but in the original, he sacrifices himself so that Godzilla may be destroyed. In this movie, he sacrifices himself so that Godzilla may live.
That's kind of ironic.
It's weird, but
it's poetic.
But yeah, pretty poetic.
And you know, he teared me up. It made me cry. And I wish we could have went in and made a counter offer, like, Mark, please.
Yes, Mark. Yes, please have Mark do it.
Yes.
And honestly, I think that's actually the one moment in the movie where I actually downloaded the song. I downloaded the song from the album, and it's called "Goodbye, Old Friend," which are the last words that he says.
Yeah.
And it's actually impressive visual effects. My only beef is that they did not take any photographs or take any 3D scans before blowing that place up.
Yeah. And you know, yeah, it's infuriating that Atlantis, I will call it Atlantis. Let's call it Atlantis. That's what it is. It's Atlantis. Godzilla is now the king of Atlantis, folks.
Let's not. Why stop at Atlantis? How about let's bring in How to Train Your Dragon 2 and The Hidden World into this?
Touché.
It's funny that a day before we saw this movie, I was replaying the trailer in my head, and I thought, holy crap, this is How to Train Your Dragon 2. This is
How to Train Your Godzilla.
No, it pretty much should have just called it Godzilla: How to Train Your Titan. I mean, think about it. You have a creature with glowing blue spines that battles against a giant dragon that can control other creatures. for the for dominance. First all seems lost, and then all of a sudden, but then they come back bigger and stronger than ever, and then you beat the bad monster, and all the creatures bow down to you. It's How to Train Your Dragon 2, which is funny because How to Train Your Dragon 2 came out the same year as Godzilla.
Yeah.
And The Hidden World came out the same year as King of the Monsters.
I call that very poetic. Good timing.
Good time. I call that someone must have been an industrial spy. So, DreamWorks, your security is a little lax.
But
but in all seriousness, it is kind of poetic a little bit.
It is poetic.
Which kind of begs the question: what is the third Godzilla movie gonna do now that How to Train Your Dragon is over?
Oh no, that is indeed the question. But here's my favorite monster fight, Boston. Let's talk about Boston.
Boston, okay.
Let's talk about there's some issues, not the fight itself. The fight itself was pretty awesome.
Oh yeah.
How about the Orca? No, the MacGuffin.
The MacGuffin. I thought you were gonna talk about how Mark is shouting for Madison and all that chaos, and still expects to actually hear her,
or her to hear him.
Her hear him.
Yeah.
But no. No. Madison. When Madison lures Ghidorah to the Red Sox Stadium, Fenway Park.
Yeah, Fenway Park.
The Fenway Park tosses the Orca, and it gets stepped on by Ghidorah, and it only looks just a little bit banged up.
Yeah, not damaged. Nothing like a 18-ton. Not even. How big is that thing?
He's a freaking titan. I don't know how big is
55-ton. What? It's gotta be huge enough to crush the damn thing.
He could probably use the Empire State Building as a scratching post.
He probably could destroy it with his pinky.
No, he's not that big.
Well, at least the Orca.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's only banged up. It's only very damaged
after a car crash.
After a car crash.
Wow.
What's that thing made of? The same material as the black box in Airplanes?
Or that car door from Iron Man?
Probably.
2?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, man.
So that's your only nitpick?
That's my biggest nitpick, but there are good things that came out of that Boston area. For example, Ghidorah's arrival. When we're seeing
yeah.
We see the wind.
You see a flag blows in the wind, then it stops, and then the flag is blowing in the opposite direction.
The opposite direction, and then you see the window. There's nothing. All of a sudden, it starts raining, downpouring, and it's here. It's here.
Alright, so I think now we move on to the one that I'm probably gonna take up a majority of.
Alright.
So it's the Easter eggs. The Easter eggs in of King of the Monsters. So after seeing the movie, because it was all about Ghidorah, I decided to pop in one of the old movies, which was Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. And turns out that King of the Monsters is pretty much an Americanized version of this. You got Godzilla, you have Mothra, and you have Rodan, and you have King Ghidorah. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. That's where this movie ends and that movie begins. However, there's so many other Easter eggs, besides the theme.
Well, Monster Zero.
Monster Zero is actually one of the titles for the only movie where Godzilla goes into space.
He goes into space.
He goes into space. It was the 60s. Everyone went into space. James Bond.
What did he use? A rocket?
It was aliens. Aliens kidnap Godzilla into space and bring him to space.
That's just easy.
I know. Well, it's the 60s.
I know, but even cheesiness has a standard.
The Power Rangers went to space. James Bond went to space.
At least Power Rangers waited until the 90s.
But yeah, his Monster Zero kind which is a reference to a movie title. Ghidorah is from space. They didn't bring in the whole alien thing. They didn't bring in like the whole M base or all that kind of thing. They just say that he's a monster from space, which is nice. They didn't go full hokey.
Yeah.
They bring in, let's see,
they call him the false king.
I kind of think, okay, I think when it comes to Long Live the King or the False King, I gotta say this is pretty heavy-handed symbolism.
Yeah.
I mean, I could pretty much just put in a clip from Angry Video Game Nerd the movie that has that fucking line in it. For Mothra, they bring in her roar, her sound, and her theme. I think what was most impressive is that they brought in the twins, which were originally supposed to be like fairies. You remember those, the fairies?
Yeah, the one that's like, get on with it, summon Mothra, please. You know, took your sweet time to summon the creature.
Mm-hmm. But these are twins, like real people. These were real people. They were twins that are in Monarch. Monarch's kind of like a family tradition for them, and there's always twins in that family.
That kind of makes me question the plausibility, but movies.
Well, we're also in a movie where giant monsters can exist.
That's why I say okay, movies. Yeah.
Right.
You know, don't question it too much.
And they also keep the pattern with Mothra of how she's born and then she dies again, sometimes in the same movie. Usually when it comes to Mothra, there's a pre-existing Mothra, but there's always an egg that has either a Mothra larva or two that come back in.
So how often is she born and killed in the same movie?
A lot. So it's kind of all the. Yeah, pretty much all the time. It's a pattern, yeah, and
That just makes me sad.
It brings to mind the whole reincarnation and how apparently according to the director is that she represents life, whereas Godzilla sort of represents destruction, and how how a forest fire is destructive, but it has its place in the natural order.
Yes. Any other Easter eggs? Pretty sure tons.
I'm pretty sure there are tons. Sarazawa, the oxygen destroyer.
Yeah, the oxygen destroyer. Which, not the name itself that made me mad. It's just how it was used.
Yeah, the whole oxygen destroyer is. You'd have to watch the original 54 movie to kind of understand what it is. But basically, is that it was designed by Sarazawa that turned out would be more destructive than the hydrogen bomb. What it does is that it pretty much destroys all the oxygen and causes and pretty much liquefies the insides and surface areas of living things. It could turn civilization into a graveyard. But the whole thing about it is that after Godzilla causes so much destruction, Sarazawa is the one who's afraid of his own creation, because it could lead to another arms race, and that even if he destroyed all his notes, the secret is still in his head, and that he would be tempted to make it again. So that's kind of what the morality of the oxygen destroyer is, and so he makes the ultimate choice to, yes, use it once against Godzilla, but I'm killing myself. This all happens in the ocean. So Godzilla dies in the ocean. Everything is destroyed. Bones, organs, everything, and Sarazawa cuts off his air hose so that he gets taken down with Godzilla.
This, it's just,
I guess this is the one thing that I do have to agree with the guys at Cinemassacre is that they don't really they don't really spend enough time in, or at least this it's an Easter egg, yes, but we don't. But there's
It's
but
a very important
It's an
Easter
important Easter egg. It's important to the whole Godzilla mythos.
Yeah. So how much was it used in the mythos?
It was only used. It was used, yes, once, and it actually becomes a plot point in the final movie of the second series, Godzilla versus Destroya. But that's a story for another time.
But here it's just kind of tossed away. It's kind of just used once.
In the movie, it's developed by the military, and they said we believe it's the only weapon that can kill Monster Zero and Godzilla
And Titans.
and the Titans, and they also said we have already just launched it.
Well, you really have no proof it's going to kill him.
Yeah,
And you know what it does? Hurts the environment.
it kills the fish. It does hurt Godzilla. Doesn't do much to Ghidorah.
No, and you know that fishing settlement right there, next down there, you just killed its revenue.
Mm-hmm.
Just thank you, military. You've done this a good service. You killed off the fishing business for that poor port.
Mm-hmm. But let's see, and of course, there's a. I think one of the biggest Easter eggs is that, of course, they do reference Kong a couple of times, but in the end credits is that they tease the upcoming sequel.
Yeah.
Which I can't wait because it's one of the most iconic. It's one of the more iconic movies in the Godzilla library.
It is. I've never seen it, but a lot of people talk about it.
There's never been a remake of it, and mostly due to legal issues. King Kong is technically owned by Universal. And as of recording this, there's never been a release of the original Japanese version. It's always just the Universal one. But that's gonna change come October 29th. Oh wait, I did just remember a couple more Easter eggs.
Really?
Yes, I did.
I remember more nitpicks, but
All right. Two more Easter eggs is that how Godzilla is reborn through a nuclear bomb is kind of a reference to the remake Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, again from the second series, which kind of involves time travel and all that thing. But they move Godzilla out of the original timeline, so he doesn't become Godzilla from a nuclear test. But then apparently he was still. Like I said, time travel. It's complicated. Long story short is that because Godzilla was born from modern nuclear weapons, he's now bigger and meaner. Like he isn't. Like he kind of was done in this movie. Second is that when he's like all red and glowing, when he, and everything is melting around him, and he releases like a red nuclear blast, it kind of looks like the scarred version of Godzilla, again from Godzilla vs. Destroya, again from the second series.
Second series sounds fun.
It is pretty fun. It does have its weak ones like Mothra.
There's one moment that stuck out with me when after that fight, after he does this red blast, we see rubble and we see King Ghidorah's head coming out. It's decapitated. He just had it in his hand and he just throws it.
Yes.
That was awesome.
It is awesome.
That was awesome.
And you know what? Actually, even in the second Ghidorah movie, from the second series, is that Godzilla he does decapitate one of Ghidorah's heads.
No.
But the future time travels, who are the bad guys, take him back to the future and then give him a cybernetic head.
No. Do the Ghidorah's heads in the original Godzilla series have personalities like this one?
No, they don't. They're pretty much just all. They move the same. Imagine these are different heads, and this is head 1, this is head 2, and I'm head 3. It kind of moves like this. So it's like that. So that's another improvement, is that each head kind of has its personality. Middle head doesn't seem to like the left head.
I find it funny.
It's like Mo, Larry, and Curly.
As if they're heads?
Yeah. And which actually is brought into the movie.
You know, no, you might have to explain this. What is up with the post-credit scene?
Of Jonah
Getting the head. Not that way.
I really have no idea. I think it might be setting up for, like, maybe there would be some Titans DNA splicing with other Titans.
So
maybe it's making
Cyber Ghidorah.
It could be making Mecha Ghidorah or making Mecha Godzilla or something. I'm not sure.
What do you think it's going to be? Or what do you hope it's going to be?
I don't know. It might. I don't know. It might. I'm thinking it might lead to Mecha Godzilla.
I would like to see that.
Mm-hmm. It would be probably very cheesy and not at all logical in this sense. But neither were the original Japanese movies. All in all, this is definitely a movie that was not. This was a movie that was kind of all. That was just a huge. This was a huge love letter to the fans of Godzilla.
It is. And you know, was there any Easter eggs to Rodan?
Aside from the volcano thing, which does happen in Ghidorah, the three-headed monster.
Oh.
He does come out of a volcano. Other than that,
a very Power Ranger-y thing to do.
Yes. Other than that, no, nothing. Other than that, nothing much. So what? So I think now we can bring this to rank. Let's see. I give King of the Monsters an 8 out of 10.
Same here.
Yeah, it's pretty much a love letter to the fun side of Godzilla.
It is a love letter to the fun side, and it is better than the first movie. It is. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna lie, because the first movie, it takes its time, very slow.
Yeah, it's good for.
It's good build up. It's good build up, but you know
it takes too long with the build up.
It takes too long. This one gets straight to the point.
Mm-hmm.
You got straight to the point to what we wanted. Monster fights.
Yes, we wanted Godzilla.
Godzilla.
I think that's all.
Yeah. Unless we really want to go through every nitpick.
No,
but no, there's too many.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Anyway, that is it for this episode of Cinematic Adventures. Join us next time for the movie we don't know yet.